So, hi, my name is Vivienne, and it's my first year at Kindergarten. So I'm going to talk a little bit about right before I came to Montreal. I spent 2 years at a special needs foster home in Fuzhou, China, and I'm going to present today about that. But before that, a bit of background about me. I was born in Singapore, and I moved to Waterloo, Ontario because of my dad's job in 2007. I did my undergrad in chemical engineering in New Jersey, and then this is when I went to Fuzhou, and then now I'm here in Montreal doing my PhD at McGill in materials engineering. So hopefully I'll be here for the next 3 years or so. So this is my village. It flooded a lot, and so that was always fun. But yeah, it was a very traditional Chinese village, small. You kind of knew everyone. You know, you'd go to the place where they would sell eggs, and it have like feathers on it, and you'd pick it out, and you knew everyone by name. So this is where I spent 2 years of my life. And so this home was started by this family. They're from the States. And it started when they moved to China, and they had this baby presented to them this small, and they said that these women said this baby's not going to live anymore because the baby had a serious heart defect, CP, cerebral palsy, and like kind of an open cleft palate. But they took the baby in and just felt called to take care of the baby, and nursed this baby back to health. And the baby's now, his name is Caleb. He's about like 13 years old, I think it is, and just a miracle story. And so that's how the whole home came about, where the Chinese government started to like trust them with more kids. And so now it's about like 50 kids that the government is kind of giving to this home as like, you know, our orphanages are kind of like full, overflowing. We don't know what to do with these babies, so here you go, like take care of these special need babies. And so we have autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy. This is the floor with cerebral palsy, and just the kids are just so sweet. And when I first went there for 2 weeks, I worked with the kids with cerebral palsy, and from there I just really felt called to go back for 2 years of my life, and that's where I just came back from. And so yeah, it's a special place. We have people drop off kids like in boxes in front of the house because they don't know what to do with it. So even the first month, like we had a baby come in and just, you know, in a box kind of thing. And we had another orphanage give us a baby with a severe like heart defect, and being like, this baby's gonna die, so like just take the baby. And in my first month, that was like an experience that was kind of burned in my head, where like, you know, day and night we're taking care of this baby, and I had the baby on like the last night shift, and the baby ended up dying like the morning after. And it was just like, you know, you feel so helpless because you don't have the medical technology to be able to help these kids that come into your that come into the home. But it's just it's really sad to see, you know, I guess babies come in like that. So that's me. We have a school attached to the home, so for higher functioning kids that we want to get adopted, you know, we have this school to teach them as much as we can. And so this is the principal, another teacher. She's actually doing a master's in applied behavioral analysis, which is to really help kids with autism. The rest of them are local, and the vision is really to train up the local people to take care of it, because it shouldn't be this, you know, let's export kids, or like, you know, have Americans come in and do it, but like let's really train up the local people to be able to do that. And so I had the privilege of working with these kids. This is my classroom, and it was funny because I went in, I didn't really know what I was going to be doing, but they were like, you have education, like let's throw you into this classroom. And they were like, what? I was like, what do I teach? They're like, I don't know, whatever you want to teach. I was like, okay. And so I had basic level Chinese, because I left Singapore at the age of 14, so I had like 14-year-old, you know, Chinese level. And they gave me these like 14 to like 17-year-old kids who basically had been in the orphanage their whole life, but in and out of school, because, you know, like they didn't have that family support system, so they were just kind of like gone rogue. And they were like, teach these kids in Chinese. And I was like, okay. And so I like looked up homeschooling resources and kind of came up with a curriculum for them. So I taught them, and then also taught this sweet girl. Her name is Deborah, and she has cerebral palsy, but just like really smart kid. And I tried to use like music, dance, art, just creative arts with the kids, so I could combine that like art aspect that I feel like a lot of kids in China lack with like the learning aspect as well. And she ended up getting adopted by a family in America, which is really exciting. So this is some of this work I did, I started a creative arts therapy program in the home, just combining music, dance, and art to like help the kids with expression, and just teaching them that they have value and like what they say and how they express themselves matters, even though other people may not recognize that. And so my heart is really seeing the value in each life. I think sometimes it's so easy in China where there's tons of people and they're more like a number than like a name or a life. And I think especially for these kids that don't have a family and have special needs, like, it seems like they don't have much value, but I really recognize the value in each life. I'm all about the individual expression of art and creativity. I'm part of Viviene, which is the art studio where Jen and I met. That's a big part of what I do. I love adoption. I want to see more kids get adopted. I think it's wonderful when orphans find a family, and I think kids are not supposed to be in institutions. Like, they need families, they need parents. And then finally, I'm involved in China Care McGill, which is an organization at McGill that teaches adopted kids about their culture. So like after they've been adopted, how do we still maintain their tie and their roots? Because I'm teaching Chinese to this one kid who's adopted. She has no like understanding of the Chinese language, but it kind of, I think because she spent her first year in China, so like I think her memory is maybe a bit there, and so I'll teach her like Hanyu Pinyin, and it'll come back to her like really fast. And so that's really cool to be able to reintroduce Chinese culture back to these kids who have been adopted. And so I just wanted to end with this quote that it is the children the world almost breaks to grow up to say that. And I really believe in just seeing the children of China raise up and just be able to change their country. So that's me.